So the COVID-19 virus is around and we're all prepared for it. Got my toilet paper, got my wipes going on here, but then I heard there might be a shortage on bread. I'm a little bit nervous about that. So I started a sourdough starter because I can make something to eat from this sourdough starter from now until I die or the world ends, whichever might come first. I'd like to be able to give you the chance to do that as well. I started starter a few weeks ago. You feed it once a week. This one, well, it's needing to be fed relatively soon. We'll look at that in a second because I'm going to show you how to actually start your own. I'm going to use a glass jar. Occasionally you can use plastic. I really prefer that you use glass or a ceramic. And this recipe, I don't know where I got my original recipe, but I went back to check some things and I got it from the spruceeats.com, and it was Elizabeth Yetter had written the blog about this. My recipe that I use is exactly the same as hers. And the first thing that you need is a package of your yeast. Once I use this yeast now, I will not use this yeast again. You don't have to use yeast. You can do wild yeast that comes from the air and let it sit on your counter. I don't have time for that. I'm 60. I don't know how much longer I'm going to live. I have to keep working. Now I need 2 cups of flour. So I have my yeast in my 2 cups of warm water. By the way, when you're measuring from a liquid measuring cup, you should make sure that you always bend down and look at it at eye level. Don't assume that when you're looking from the top that it's correct, because as you remember from your science classes, it bends up on the edges. Look at where the bottom is. I'm going to take this, I'm just going to whisk around in my flour just to add a little bit of air to it so that I know that my measuring is actually correct. Got my 1 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to do this in 2 different steps. So I have my 1 cup. When you are measuring flour, you never bang it down. That air that I just incorporated into it, you want to keep in there. I'm just flattening a little bit to make sure it's filled in and flatten out. That is 1 cup. I'm going to take the cup. I happen to have this great thing here, so when I can my fruits and vegetables, I need to have a funnel. And that's what this is a funnel. So I'm using that funnel. Now, I don't have this completely dissolved in here. I'm just going to drop it in little bit, just to try to get the yeast going. It's not going to matter in a while. It's all going to be in here. It'll be sitting here, I'm sorry to say, for a week before you can use it. See how I'm doing that? Poured from one side and poured from the other side. The reason I did that is I wanted to pour out all the yeast that was left in there. Not worrying about this. I'm going to use this in a few minutes again, and we're ready to go. That's it. This is my starter. It's ready to go, and I will be able to, in a week, start doing all kinds of fun stuff with it. Crumpets happen to be one of my favorite things to do with sourdough starter. I'm going to do crumpets. You can do sourdough biscuits. You can always do biscuits. You can also do sourdough breads. Not everybody likes sourdough breads, I understand. I had a student one time who said, yeah, not eating that, it smells disgusting. Okay, maybe it smells disgusting to him. It doesn't smell disgusting to everyone. Shake, shake, shake your wiggles out. Shake, shake, shake your wiggles out. Shake, shake, shake your wiggles out. Wiggle your wobbles away. And it's done. And this is going to sit aside for a week in your refrigerator, and then you will take it out and start using it. What will it look like? Well, mine needed to be fed yesterday, and I didn't feed it yesterday, so I'm in the process of making hooch. That's an old term that a lot of people won't know. Mine is not very pretty on top. You can smell it. It is strong smelling. So I'm going to scoop out a little of the lousy smelling stuff on the top of here, and then I'm going to mix it up because it's starting to look, well, bad. And now I can begin stirring it up. So I'm going to stir it It doesn't look beautiful, but remember, it's sourdough. It is supposed to be sour. It is supposed to be tart. That's the thing that people don't always get about it, that when they're looking at it now, you don't realize later on when you're eating stuff that, yeah, this is what it looked like. It might not have been so beautiful. I'm thinking if you watched beer making, you might actually feel the same way about beer. Everything needs to be fed. Anytime we talk about yeast, everything needs to be fed. It needs a little bit of sugar, because sugar takes care of our hunger. We need some water, because don't we always need water in our lives? 1 cup of water. Does not matter if it's warm or cold, but I happen to like mine to either be room temperature or warm. And 1 cup of flour that I previously measured out. Mixing this together, this is all we're going to do. Once I have it mixed together, should look like a paste. Every time you were working with dough, you'll notice that you'll go through those stages and it will look pasty, and then it will take care of what it's doing. I will put this back into my refrigerator and I will have it for the next time I want to use it. When you're doing sourdough, any recipes that you choose to do, you have to watch. Sometimes it tells you to have room temperature, sometimes it tells you cold. A lot of times they'll tell you take your sourdough out an hour before you're ready to use it. It does not matter. It doesn't matter where you're storing it right now in your refrigerator, top shelf, bottom shelf, doesn't matter. Just stick it somewhere in the refrigerator. If you don't have a beautiful crock like I do, then find a glass bowl. Put it in a glass bowl or keep it in a canning jar. This one's for you, Kara. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you for the next 2 recipes, which will be even more fun to feed your family when you get tired of just worrying about toilet tissue and wipes.